If you love video games, then October 2024 is shaping up to be a great month for you. And if you don't love video games, I'm not really sure why you clicked on here. Maybe it was an accident, but I hope you stick around. Anyway, in this video, we're going to take a look at 10 of the hopefully best games of October 2024. At worst, they'll at least be 10 of the most interesting games that you'll want to keep your eye on and know about. So let's kick things off with the Until Dawn remake for PC and PS5. It's dropping on October 4th, and boy, am I excited for this one. Now, you might be thinking, Until Dawn, isn't that the horror slasher game that's not really that old? Well, it's about a decade old at this point, so is it really any less of a candidate for a remake than all the other remakes that we get? I wouldn't say so, but the game sees you take control of a group of friends at a mountain cottage during winter, of course, nighttime. And well, you can imagine things get pretty spooky from there. I'm not going to spoil anything. The thing about Until Dawn is that you get to play as all the different characters, and there's branching paths, different endings, all that good stuff that you would want from a choose your own adventure kind of story. Now, obviously the remake has cool new graphics that we're seeing on screen, but that's not all. There's going to be new environments to play. There's going to be a new score, new audio. There's going to be a recut story. So what that means is they're going to be changing how some of the scenes play out in terms of how they're framed, and they might be changing some of the flow of the story as well. I know the prologue is getting a little bit reworked, but it looks like it's staying faithful to the core of what made the original so great. And of course, Until Dawn is full of characters you love or love to hate, which makes it perfect for a horror or slasher environment. Definitely keep an eye out for Until Dawn if you want to be spooked this October. I know that I can't wait to play this one. Oof, I'm ready. Hopefully I can make everybody survive, but let's be real, I'm probably going to lose like half the cast. Now let's move on to one more spoopy game and one more remake actually. So we've got Silent Hill 2 dropping on PC and PS5 on the 8th of October. And Silent Hill is one of those psychological horror franchises that's really near and dear to people. And so it's got really kind of intense, hardcore interpretations that can vary from player to player about how the game makes them feel or how they perceive certain events or characters. So let's be real. The odds of this game living up to so many different expectations that have been built since 2001, they're probably low, right? You can't please everyone. But hopefully the Silent Hill 2 remake is going to be as awesome as it looks in terms of graphical fidelity. Obviously, it's got fantastic new graphics, and the story is supposed to be generally untouched. So you're going to be James going back to the town of Silent Hill after you get a letter from your wife that passed away, and then you run into somebody that looks like your wife. I'm not going to say any more, obviously, no spoilers here, but one thing that the game here does, the remake rather, is it moves the camera from fixed perspectives to third person, and it introduces new combat and new audio. So, like I said, the game looks fantastic just in terms of visual fidelity, and I hope that it can maintain Silent Hill's focus on atmosphere and psychological horror. And regardless of whether Silent Hill 2 ends up being what you want out of a Silent Hill game, be sure to keep an eye out for this one if you're interested in getting spooked in October. But for now, let's move away from the horror games. Next up, we have Dragon Ball Sparking Zero for PC, PS5, and Xbox Series XS dropping on October 10th. And oh my goodness, y'all, I'm so excited for this one. So, if you don't know Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, it's the latest title in what was previously called the Budokai Tenkaichi series. And what this game is trying to do is basically give you super cinematic Dragon Ball fights in an arena fighter format. So if you're not familiar with arena fighters, they're kind of easy to pick up and play compared to traditional fighting games, and the camera is usually behind your back. The action looks so frenetic, just how you would want Dragon Ball fights to be. The gameplay has of course been updated since the last iteration, since it's been a while, and the roster is huge. I think we're expecting about 164 characters at launch, many which are transformations of course, so I don't know exactly how many characters there's going to be in terms of unique ones, maybe around 90, maybe around 80. Either way, that's a crazy amount, and really, Sparking Zero wants to be your Dragon Ball sandbox. You know how you played with action figures as a kid, having all sorts of crazy and make-believe and what-if fights? Well, that's what this game is trying to do. You'll be able to relive classic DBZ moments if you want to replay that story again for the 1 millionth time in a video game. There's also going to be unique what-if scenarios, plus you'll be able to create and share custom scenarios, which is super exciting. I can't wait to see what people are going to cook up. You know there's going to be so many meme scenarios with Goku getting betrayed in the hyperbolic time chamber and trapped for 1,000 years. things like that. It's going to be great. I can't wait. I'm just looking forward to having a game that's such a visual feast and a treat for Dragon Ball fans. It's not going to be most likely the most complex or competitive game or anything like that, but it's not about that. It's about you being a Dragon Ball fanboy, or me rather being a Dragon Ball fanboy, and just getting to live out those fanboy moments while I'm controlling them. All right, now let's move on to Metaphor ReFantazio, dropping on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox Series XS on October 11th. And I'll be honest with y'all, I looked at a few trailers for this game as they've been coming out, and I have absolutely no idea what's going on with the story. It's some kind of medieval fantasy, maybe British-y JRPG from Atlas. And what's got me excited is that it's very much in the vein of Shin Megami Tensei or Persona. It's got that slick turn-based combat. You got your dungeons, you got your social simulator elements, and a restrictive calendar that really challenges you to make a lot of decisions every single in-game day. It looks so stylish, and I'm just excited for another Atlas JRPG that's taking cues from basically Persona and SMT, and everyone that's been playing this early has been saying the game's praises, which is great. While many of the elements of this game might look familiar if you're an SMT or Persona fan, I think they're coming together in a pretty different way here, and with the different setting, with the different style of story and the different tone, I'm sure there's going to be many twists and turns as you bond with your favorite characters. And hey, even if the game ends up being as nonsensical as some of its trailers, even if it's not great, at least we're getting new music from Shoji Meguro, who you might know as the main composer behind all of the amazing Persona music. I'm excited for Metaphor ReFantazio, and I'm excited to actually dig into what it's all about because, like I said, the trailers I looked at, it's like, oh, here's 50 different characters talking over each other about important plot information or something like that. But I'm excited. Now let's switch gears to Neva, which is coming out on PC, Switch, PS5, Xbox Series XS on October 15th. This is a 2D adventure platformer, probably with some puzzle elements as well, from the creators of Grease, which was more or less an instant classic. So in this game, you're experiencing the journey of a young woman called Alba and her growing bond with some kind of mystical wolf across a seemingly dying world. And this promises to be a highly emotional ride, and I swear to God, if they kill the wolf at the end of this game, I'm never going to recover from this. Sorry, that was terrible. I'm just excited for Neva. I'm excited to cry a lot, basically. I'm excited to have a box of tissues beside me while I game. Hey, not for that reason. I know what you're thinking, but for the crying reasons I previously mentioned. Let's move on to the next game. All right, so hold on. For this next one, you might think I'm joking, but wait, don't click away. That's right. Super Mario Party Jamboree is dropping on October 9th for the Nintendo Switch, and whether you like the series or not, whether you try to run from it or hide, Mario Party is coming back, and it's going to sell a bajillion more copies, and you're going to find yourself strangling your friends because somehow you're playing this game whether you own it or not. Now, this game looks like it might be a bit of a quality refresh that many have wanted to see from the series for a while now. It's got a new UI, it's got new modes, it's got 110 plus minigames, 7 boards, 5 of which are going to be new, which is great, and 2 old ones, and the roster is going to be 22 characters. So there's even going to be a 20-player online mode where you try to compete basically across the minigames with other people, but the core of the game remains the same in practice. You play a board game, you take turns, you roll the dice, you try to complete minigames and get stars, and really, you just try to screw over your friends as much as possible. I'm sure this game isn't going to reinvent the wheel, but there's nothing wrong with a good new Mario Party coming out, and hopefully this one lives up to how it's looking like so far. And let's just be real, whether or not this one ends up being good, you will find yourself playing it at some point, and you will find yourself not wanting to talk to your friends after. So really, we all win? Question mark? Next up, we've got Streets of Rogue 2 dropping on October 22nd, PC Early Access, and this is an insane open-world RPG with fully destructible environments, a procedurally generated world, dozens? I was trying to say dozens and tons. Dozens of classes and tons of different traits. It looks like this game is going to be absolutely bananas. The premise is very simple. You're trying to take down a corrupt president, whether you're playing solo or co-op, but how you get there is really up to you. The first game made by Matt Dabrowski was an absolutely underrated gem, and he seems to be going absolutely crazy with this one. It's kind of hard to describe this kind of game because it's got so much freedom. It's really encouraging you to play it how you want to play it. And that goes to extreme levels. So you can think of this game as like GTA mixed with Stardew Valley, mixed with Deus Ex, and many other games that give you seemingly unlimited options. I'm pretty excited. I can't wait to see what kind of carnage everybody gets up to in Streets of Rogue 2. Now, this next one is not technically a brand new game. It did come out on PC a couple years ago, but it's coming out to all of the consoles on October 22nd. That's right, I'm talking about Wildermyth dropping on Switch and current and last gen consoles as well. And wow, am I excited for this. So many more people are finally going to get a chance to play Wildermyth, and you can think of this game as a co-op video game version of a tabletop RPG. Your choices matter, the story is procedurally generated, and you're just leveling up your characters, unraveling mysteries, going on all sorts of adventures with your friends. Plus, the art style is super cute, kind of papercrafty, and the game has a really great sense of humor. So whether you've never played a tabletop RPG before, or you're an expert, but maybe, getting the logistics of it set up can sometimes be challenging, Wildermyth is absolutely going to scratch that itch for you. And I'm just super pumped for it to come to consoles because so many more players are going to experience what an awesome game this is. All right, so for this next one, I know, some of you are going to call me basic. Some of you are going to be saying, what are you talking about, bro? Some of you are going to have some really strong opinions in the comments. But I'm really excited for Call of Duty Black Ops 6 dropping on PC, current and past gen consoles, not Switch, on October 25th. Now, hold on, let's talk about this. What do you mean yet another yearly Call of Duty? Well, honestly, Black Ops 6 is shaping up to potentially be the tightest and fastest playing Call of Duty that I've played since the remake of Modern Warfare 1. The one from a few years ago, was it 2018, 2019? So Black Ops 6 has new moving mechanics that try to give you more freedom where you're sprinting or diving or just sliding around. But what really impressed me was how the game feels in the beta. There's just a snappiness to everything. Everything feels so organic, like when you're aiming around a corner and you've got the auto leaning, or when you're mounting your gun, or when you're transitioning between stances or rotating your upper body. It just feels so good to play. And it's just so hilarious diving around maps like your Max Payne or something like that. I was really impressed with the maps in the beta as well. They're not just your standard cookie cutter 3-lane maps. And I like that they're also bringing small scale carnage in some of the playlists. So those are great for short bursts, and they're not like shipment levels of chaos, but they're that frenetic, fast-paced Call of Duty experience that you can't really get anywhere else. Those playlists are great for short chunks, whether it's 3-minute or 5-minute matches. And of course, you've still got your zombies, you've still got everything else that you expect from Call of Duty. But at the end of the day, I was just impressed by how much they're focusing on making sure you're having tons of fun with this game. It's really goofy, it's really silly. Don't come to this if you're looking for some kind of military simulator. It's just focused on giving you the most amount of fun that it possibly can. Another thing that is super important to me, and somewhere that Modern Warfare 2 and 3 remakes, or they're not even remakes, they're their own games, but where they lacked is visibility. Those games were so hard to look at in terms of where the enemies are. There's always some fog, there's always some smoke, colors are always kind of dull and blending together, but in Black Ops 6, it's been massively improved, which is really important. I think the only time there's maybe some challenges with visibility is in some spots when players are going prone, but otherwise, as long as you've got the computer, the beefy computer that you need to run this well, things look great, things look crisp. You're not squinting your eyes to be like, wait, I didn't see that enemy, that's smoke. So I know that sounds weird potentially or silly, but visibility is so crucial to FPS games, and a lot of Call of Duty games in the past haven't been great in that regard. So I know that Call of Duty is so popular that everyone's going to have their own takes for it. And every time there's a new Call of Duty, it seems like half the internet is like, this is the worst thing ever, or this is the best thing ever. But for me personally, I'm super excited how this one plays. It's also coming out day one on Game Pass, so it makes it easier for people to try out. And I just can't wait to get my hands on it. I can't wait to get into Black Ops 6 and go pew, 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 pew. In fact, I would go out on a limb and say right now, the game I'm looking forward to the most in October 2024 is Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I know that might sound crazy, but hey, it's just how I feel. We'll see how it turns out. All right, now let's completely shift our tone and atmosphere and talk about Life is Strange Double Exposure. It's coming out on PC, PS5, Xbox Series XS on the 29th of October. And if you're not familiar with Life is Strange, these are sort of your choices matter, choose your own adventure style adventure games that usually deal with heavy topics in a young adult book style fashion. So in this one, they're actually bringing back the protagonist from the original game called Max. She has some time-related powers, and she finds that her new best friend is murdered in a seemingly unsolvable fashion, and she has to tap into those powers to bring her back potentially while figuring out who the killer is. And really, Double Exposure seems like it's hinting at being a multiverse adventure, which could be a really big hit or miss. But whatever happens, Life is Strange fans right now are a little bit confused because the first game, no spoilers, had multiple endings and they were dramatically different. Oh, they could not be any more different. So the question is, how does that feed into this game? Does it even feed into this game? Or will characters, from the old game appear in this one because it's potentially a multiverse thing? Who knows? It's unclear to say. Maybe this is the Spider-Man No Way Home of Life is Strange. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something completely different. I don't know. But what I do know is this game is bound to be emotional, and the Life is Strange series is kind of very well known for characters that are easy to love and care about, along with a lot of inclusivity and diverse representation. So I'm really excited to see how this one pans out. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's going to kind of live up to what my idea of Life is Strange is, and that's kind of the thing with this series. It has such a diverse fan base that it means so many different things to different people, kind of like when we talked about Silent Hill 2. So it's one of those things where while they're bringing back the main character from the first game that, everyone really liked, it's not going to be easy to please everyone by bringing her back. So we'll see how it pans out, but definitely a game worth keeping your eye on. All right, my friends, we have journeyed through the potentially 10 best games of October 2024, but what about you? I want to know. Tell me which of these games you're looking forward to, or maybe some other games that weren't included in my list. Let me know in the comments below, and let me know if you agree or disagree with the inclusion of any of these games in my list. My name is Poplove. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more of this kind of content or other kind of gaming videos. I love you so much, and please pick up the phone when I call you. Bye.